Hello student, let's start the basic structure of the alimentary canal. The wall of the alimentary canal, it is made by the four layer. From outer to inner side, it is made by the outer layer, that is called the adventitia or the outer covering. Second layer, that is the muscular layer. Third layer, it is the submucous layer, and the innermost layer, it is the mucous layer. So let's start the every layer of the alimentary canal, details of the layers of alimentary canal. So here in this diagram you can see that is the digestive tract or the alimentary tract. So it should be include that is the mouth, then the pharynx, then the esophagus, then stomach, then this is the small intestine, that is the large intestine, the rectum and the anal canal. Apart from this, that is some accessory organ that is also included into the digestive system, that is the three pairs of the salivary gland which is present around the oral cavity, then the pancreas here, and the liver and the gall bladder. So these are the abdominal organ or the digestive organ. As you know, that is these most of the part of the digestive tract that should be present into that the abdominal cavity. So from the anterior abdominal wall to see the exact location of the organ, that is externally the anterior abdominal wall, it should be divided into that the different region. So this region we should have to see. So here in this diagram you can see that is the different region of the abdomen. So these are the 9 region, and according to that the region we can know about the exact location of the organ. So here that is the stomach is located here in this region, liver is located here in this region, that is the rectum is located. Okay? So these 9 region that should be forming by the 2 vertical line and the 2 transverse line. So the vertical lines, these are the right and the left mid clavicular line, and it should be passing out from the mid inguinal ligament, this one. Then apart from this, that is the 2 transverse lines are passed, that is the first transverse line, it is called the transpyloric plane or the transpyloric line. Anteriorly it should be passing out from the tip of 9th rib, and posteriorly it should be passing out the lower border of the L1 vertebra. Then the transtubercular plane or the transtubercular line. So it should be passing out the tubercles present on the iliac crest anteriorly, and posteriorly it should be passing out from the lower border of the L5 vertebra. Okay? So apart from this, it should be forming the anterior abdominal wall into that the 9 region. So this region, 1 number region, it is called the right hypochondric region. The second number, it is called the epigastric region. The third number, it is called the left hypochondric region. The fourth number, it is called the right lumbar region. The middle region, fifth region, it is called the umbilical region. The sixth region, it is called the left lumbar region. The seventh region, it is called the right iliac fossa. The eighth region, it is called the hypogastric region, and the ninth region, it is called the left iliac fossa. So because of this, you can identify the exact location of the abdominal organ or the digestive organ. It should be located into that the particular region of the abdomen. Okay. Then the clinical importance of that is the 9th region. So clinically, whenever patient is come and said that is the pain should be occurs into that the particular area. So if that is the pain should be occurs into the right iliac fossa, so here that is the cecum should be present, cecum and appendix. So that may be related with the pain related with the appendix. Okay? So these are the clinical significance of the 9th region of the abdomen. So to see that is the clinical significance, that is if the pain should be occurs into the right hypochondrium, so it should be comes out from the gallbladder or the biliary duct. When the pain should be occurs into the epigastric region, so it comes out from the stomach or the duodenum. After then, the pain that is comes out from the left hypochondrium, so that is related from the pancreas. Then the pain comes out from the right lumbar region, so it should be comes out from the right kidney. Then the pain it should be comes out into the umbilical region, so it is related with the small intestine. When the pain comes to the left lumbar region, it comes out from the left kidney. When the pain should be occurs into the right iliac fossa, so that is related with the appendix. When the pain should be occurs into the hypogastric region, so that is related with the pain of the urinary bladder or the uterus. And if the pain that should be occurs into the left iliac fossa, so that is related with the sigmoid colon, or that should be occurs due to the inflammation and the obstruction into the lower part of the large intestine or the bowel. Okay, so that is the clinical importance related with the 9th region of the abdomen. After then, we should have to see that is the blood supply to that the digestive tract. So the blood supply of the digestive tract, it is supplied by the branches of the thoracic aorta and the abdominal aorta. So as the esophagus that should be present into that the thoracic cavity, so it is supplied by the branch of the thoracic descending thoracic aorta. So these are the esophageal artery. So this esophageal artery that is supplied to the thoracic part of the esophagus, and the remaining part of the digestive tract it present into the abdominal cavity, so that is supplied by the branches of abdominal aorta. So let's see the diagram of the abdominal aorta. So here in this diagram you can see that is this is the abdominal aorta, and abdominal aorta for the digestive tract it gives the 3 major branches. One here you can see that is the colic trunk. Second branch it is the superior mesenteric artery, and the third artery it is the inferior mesenteric artery. So let's see that is the colic trunk. So colic trunk it gives mostly the 3 branches. So here you can see that is the 3 branches. One goes on the right side, the name of this branch that is the hepatic artery, which is supply to the liver and the gall bladder. Second artery it is the left gastric artery, so it is supply to the stomach. And the third artery it is the splenic artery, which is supply to the spleen and the pancreas. Then the second artery it is the superior mesenteric artery. The superior mesenteric artery it is supply the small intestine, all parts of the small intestine, that is the duodenum, jejunum and the ileum. Then the part of the large intestine, that is the cecum, ascending colon and the maximum part of the transverse colon, that is supplied by the branches of the superior mesenteric artery. Then the next is the inferior mesenteric artery. So the inferior mesenteric artery it is supply to the remaining part of the transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon. So that is supplied by the inferior mesenteric artery. And the rectum and the anal canal that is supplied by the branches of internal iliac artery. So for this we should have to see the diagram, another diagram. So here in this diagram you can see that is the abdominal aorta, and this abdominal aorta is divided into 2 branches, that is the right and left common iliac artery. The right and left common iliac artery are again divided into the external iliac artery, and this is the internal iliac artery. This is external iliac and internal iliac, and this internal iliac artery it gives the branches which is supply to the rectum and the anal canal. So in this way, that is the oxygenated blood supply gives supply to the all parts of the digestive tract. Then the venous drainage, for this we should have to see again another diagram, that is this one. So the venous drainage from the esophagus, as it is present into the thoracic cavity, so it is drains into the azygous vein and the hemiazygous vein, this one. And the remaining part of the digestive tract which is present into the abdominal cavity, so that is drained by, here in this diagram you can see the three major artery which is supply the colic trunk, the superior mesenteric and the inferior mesenteric artery. So it should be forming that the venous drainage, that is called the portal circulation. So main one branch that should be comes out from the spleen or drain the venous blood from the spleen and the pancreas to from the splenic vein. So here you can see that is the splenic vein. Then to the splenic vein, that is after then, that is the venous drainage which comes out from the small intestine, cecum, ascending colon and the part of the transverse colon. So that should be drained by the superior mesenteric vein. So here you can see that is the superior mesenteric vein which joins to the splenic vein. Then the remaining part of the digestive tract, that is the transverse colon, descending colon and the sigmoid colon, that should be forming the vein, that is the inferior mesenteric vein. And this inferior mesenteric vein, that should be drain the venous blood into that the splenic vein. The venous blood from the rectum and anal canal, that is also drained by the inferior mesenteric vein into that the splenic vein. Then the splenic vein, that should be goes upwards and laterally and it should be forming that is the portal vein. So this one here you can see that is the portal vein. The portal vein that should be enters into the liver and suddenly divided into the two branches, that is the right and the left branch of the portal vein. Then the throughout the portal vein, that is the nutrition from the venous blood which is coming out from the digestive tract, that should be deposited into that the liver, and the remaining venous blood that should be drained into that the inferior vena cava. So in this way, that is the venous blood from the digestive tract that should be drained. The nerve supply of the digestive tract. So the alimentary canal, it is supplied by the parasympathetic and the sympathetic of the autonomic nervous system. The action of the both nerve, that is the antagonistic with each other. So let's see firstly the parasympathetic nerves. It provides one pair of the vagus nerve, that is the cranial nerve. The stimulation of this nerve, it forms the smooth muscle contraction and the secretion of the digestive juices. The most of the distal part of the parasympathetic part of the digestive tract, it is supplied by the sacral nerve, that is from the S2, S3 and S4. Then the sympathetic nerve supply, that is numerous nerve which is emerging from the spinal cord into the thoracic and the lumbar region. The action of this nerve, that is it reduces to smooth muscle contraction and the glandular secretion. Then the myenteric and the oral batch plexus, that should be lies between the two layers of the smooth muscle which influences the peristalsis. Meissner plexus lies in the submucosa and that supplies the mucous membrane and the secretory glands. So that is the nerve supply of the digestive tract or the alimentary